Hello, everyone. Today we're going to look at how the environment affects the growth of insects. The environment is the sum of all things in the space outside a particular organism or group of organisms that directly or indirectly affect the growth of the organism or group of organisms. It is composed of various ecological factors. The main ecological factors affecting insects are climate, biology, soil, etc. First, we introduce the influence of climate factors on insect growth. Climate factors affecting insect growth mainly include temperature, humidity, precipitation, light, wind, and so on. First, temperature. Temperature mainly affects the growth and development of insects. Because insects are poikilotherms, the ability to maintain and regulate body temperature is not strong, and the body temperature of insects is basically determined by the temperature of the surrounding environment. In order to explain the effect of temperature on insect life activities, the temperature range is divided into 5 temperature zones. They are lethal high temperature zone, sublethal high temperature zone, moderate temperature zone, sublethal low temperature zone, and lethal low temperature zone. The lethal high temperature zone can cause irreversible damage to insect proteins and enzymes, resulting in insect death in a short period of time. The temperature in this temperature zone is generally 45 to 60 degrees Celsius. The sublethal high temperature zone can cause metabolic dysfunction in insects, showing a state of thermal coma. If the temperature continues, it will also cause death. The temperature in this temperature zone is generally 40 to 45 degrees Celsius. In the warm zone, insects can grow normally, and the temperature range is generally 8 to 40 degrees Celsius. The temperature zone can be divided into 3 subtemperature zones. In the high temperature zone, the temperature range is 30 to 40 degrees Celsius, and the mortality rate increases with the increase of temperature. The optimum temperature zone, the temperature range is 20 to 30 degrees Celsius. In this temperature zone, the energy consumption of insects is the least, the mortality is the lowest, and the fertility is the greatest. Hypothermic zone, temperature range 8 to 20 degrees Celsius. In this temperature zone, as the temperature decreases, development slows down, mortality increases. The sublethal hypothermia zone can also cause metabolic dysfunction in insects, showing a cold coma state. If the temperature continues, it will also cause death. The temperature in this temperature zone is generally -10 to 8 degrees Celsius. The lethal low temperature zone can cause the liquid in the insect body to freeze, cause the protoplasm to suffer mechanical damage, dehydration, structural damage, etc., and cause irreversible changes in the tissues or cells to cause death. The temperature in this temperature zone is generally -40 to -10 degrees Celsius. Second, humidity and precipitation. Humidity mainly affects the water balance in the insect body, thus affecting the insect reproduction, growth and development, survival rate, and so on. Insects with different lifestyles have different requirements for environmental humidity. Aquatic insects, such as mosquito larvae, tend to die when they leave the water. The suitable relative humidity for soil-dwelling and boring insects was 100%. The most suitable relative humidity for naked insects is about 70 to 90%, such as mating and laying of cotton bollworm requires relative humidity of more than 80%. Precipitation can directly kill insects and affect the normal activities of insects, such as heavy rain can directly kill a large number of aphids, red spiders. And on rainy days, many insects will stop moving. Precipitation can also increase air humidity and soil water content, thus affecting the occurrence of insects. In addition, precipitation is also an important survival and living condition for some insects, such as grassiccadas, which can emerge in large numbers after heavy rain. Third, light. The growth of insects is closely related to radiant heat, intensity of light, wavelength of light, and period of light. Insects absorb heat from solar radiation. Insects in cold regions are dark, which helps them absorb heat and raise their body temperature. Insects in the tropics have bright colors and strong metallic reflections, which help to reflect sunlight and avoid excessive body temperature. The body color of some insects can also change with the background color of the habitat, so often the same insect has different color differences. The intensity of light mainly affects the circadian rhythm of insects, flight activities, mating and spawning, takeoff and migration, feeding and roosting. The wavelength of light mainly affects the phototaxis of insects, thus promoting the application of physical control technologies such as light trapping and yellow plate trapping. The response of photoperiodic annual variation to many insects is very obvious. For example, aphids produce bisexual individuals only in short daylight, and short daylight in autumn is the condition for producing bisexual aphids. In addition, photoperiod is closely related to diapause in winter of many insects. Fourth, the wind. Wind can affect the ambient temperature and humidity, thereby indirectly affecting the body temperature of insects. It also directly affects the migration and spread of insects, such as mosquitoes, flies, aphids, plant hoppers, etc., can use the wind for long-distance migration. Today we introduce here. Thank you.